Donald Trump is now openly calling for foreign governments to hack his political opponents. Let's watch.
And they asked him about Russia and the hacking. By the way, if they hacked, they probably have her 33,000 emails. I hope they do. They probably have her 33,000 emails that she lost and deleted, because you'd see some beauties there. So let's see. But it would be interesting to see. I will tell you this. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. I think you will probably be rewarded mightily by our press.
Okay, and so, look, he speaks off the cuff, and so you might think, oh, he meant something else by that incredibly specific thing he said. No, he later tweeted out, if Russia or any other country or person has Hillary Clinton's 33,000 illegally deleted emails, perhaps they should share them with the FBI. So he would prefer it to be Russia, considering his links to them, but any country, really. If Madagascar wants to hack into American servers to take down one of his political opponents, he's fine with that as well.
So, a former National Security Council member of George W. Bush said this was tantamount to treason.
Yep.
So that is very heavy language, because it kind of is. I've never seen anything like this, where a guy, any politician in the country, let alone a guy running for president.
He's the candidate
He's
now.
the Republican candidate that says, hey, foreign power, can you please spy in on us and affect our election? Let alone that foreign power being Russia.
Right.
But on the other hand, to be fair, I remember when Reagan said, hey, Russians, could you spy in on us? Like, even if you're a Republican, this should be outrageous.
And it is to some. Even Mike Pence is distancing himself from it.
Paul Ryan
distances himself. And then one other thing, just for the context of it, there's sort of an unwritten rule in American politics. During the other party's convention, you don't campaign. You don't do what this guy's doing in Florida today. And so, I mean, nothing is conventional.
Right.
Nothing is conventional about this.
Of course he's going to bring that.
Of course.
Which is why we didn't really hear anything from Hillary Clinton during the RNC, right? And,
Yes.
And, you know, Hillary Clinton is never really in the news doing these ridiculous, making these ridiculous statements and doing things for press attention anyway. But she was not in the news at all during the RNC.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump has been tweeting and has been responding and now doing a press conference. This is crazy. I just think about, what the ramifications would be if a high-level journalist who has a huge following was encouraging the Russian government or Russians to spy in on an American politician. I mean, think about, I feel like there would be some severe ramifications. Think about how, aggressively the government goes after anyone who's a whistleblower or anyone who does anything to just simply inform the American people about their rights being violated. I mean, we treat them as if they're guilty of treason and espionage. I
hadn't thought of it that way, but imagine the guy that you were, on a show with today, Dan Rather. If Dan Rather, back when he was the CBS Evening News anchor, said, boy, wouldn't it be great if the Russians spied in on George H.W. Bush, or wouldn't it be great if they spied in on George W. Bush or Reagan? They would have called for his resignation immediately. They would have had it within the hour.
It's not even, wouldn't it be great? You should do it. And if you do it, I said do. If you do it.
You said it again.
We will, I know.
You'll be rewarded.
Our company will reward you mightily.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah, and so look, if he becomes president, what are we supposed to assume based on his statements he would do for other acts of it? Like, would he, on a case-by-case basis, analyze, okay, so the Chinese broke in, let's see, did it help me out? Oh, it helped me out a little bit. Okay, good job, good show. Like, could we trust this guy to protect America if he's inviting Russia to not only take some Eastern European countries, but also to break in to help him out politically? It's just ridiculous. And his campaign, of course, had to come out. His campaign manager, communications director, who I feel sorry for him, that every day he has to pretend that the most insane things that were said weren't said.
He could
comes out
leave,
and
by the
says,
way. He could
what's
just
that?
leave.
Yeah.
He could leave, yeah.
So
No, he's a terrible guy.
Don't feel
I'm
sorry
joking.
for him. Yeah.
He said he's not saying they should hack in. He's just saying if they already hacked in, they should use it to benefit us. Which, by the way, no. First of all, that's a terrible defense. Second of all, it's not even true, because you saw the video. He says if you can find it, you should. He didn't say if you already have it, reveal it. But I literally had people tweeting me, all this morning saying, no, he's just saying that they should benefit from previous hacking. And, by the way, a bit of additional information. Now, this was not while he was a presidential candidate, but back in 2014, I believe, it might have been a little bit earlier, he tweeted out that hackers are hacking everything, so why don't you hack to find out if Barack Obama was actually born in America?
Which is great. But going to what Cenk said, you know, anybody else says this, right? End of campaign. Anybody else says anything he said, end of campaign. One thing Donald Trump said in the middle of the campaign, I'm sure you all remember, he said, if I went into Times Square and killed somebody, they'd still love me. It doesn't matter. None of this moves the people that adhere so to his message and to his candidacy. What one hopes, if you do not want Donald Trump to be president, is that it dissuades people who might otherwise not want to vote for this candidate or vote for Trump to not vote for Trump.
So imagine, one last imagine, if Nancy Pelosi
Oh my God.
had said, hey, I hope the Russians spy in on us and give us dirt on the Republicans.
Right.
And by the way, if she had said that, we would criticize her on this
Of
show.
course, that
you
would be
don't say
insane.
that.
Right.
Exactly.
And we would ask for her resignation.
And we would not get it within an hour.
That's right. And then finally, this isn't like Nixon doing Watergate. This is like Nixon asking the Russians to do Watergate.
Yeah.
This is beyond insane. If he was president, we would be talking about impeachment.
But
he's running for president, and everybody's like, yeah, it's fine. It's just Trump being Trump.
Yeah.
Well, Trump being Trump turns out to be pretty disastrous.
Every time I say such and such will hurt Trump, people online say, well, nothing hurts Trump. I counter with his unfavorables didn't get as high as they did because nothing hurts him. Obviously, some things hurt him. But this in particular, his voters are old. We know that. He's got like 24% of the vote in one poll under 45. Old white Americans, we know this from the Glenn Beck show, they still think of the Soviet Union as a gigantic threat. They lived almost their entire life believing that Russia is an existential threat to our entire way of life. And this guy is palling around with Vladimir Putin, asking for them to become a part of his campaign. He's got business interests with them. He's hiding his taxes so that he doesn't have to reveal it. He's complimenting back and forth with Putin. Do you really want a guy palling around with the biggest threat from throughout your entire life? I think that this could actually sink in if they were to run with it.
Okay, I'm sorry, I have to jump in. John is so right about this. You know, we talk about nothing hurting him. That was a Republican primary. This is a general election. These things could hurt in a general election. It's really important to remember that.